Late in 2023, a quiet waterfront neighborhood in Fishers, Indiana became the center of a legal battle that few residents could have imagined. At first glance, the structure rising on Lot 11 in the Water's Edge subdivision looked like just another luxury development. But what was being built there would eventually become one of the most controversial houses in the area, a nearly $2.2 million duplex that a judge would later order to be completely demolished. The story begins with a developer called MHM Investment Group. The company owned property in the Water's Edge neighborhood, a community governed by a homeowners association, often called an HOA. Like many HOAs in the United States, Water's Edge had a set of covenants and restrictions designed to maintain a consistent appearance and spacing between homes. In 2021, the association established rules that included strict side yard setback requirements, meaning houses had to sit a certain distance away from property lines and neighboring structures. These rules were not simply suggestions. Developers who bought property in the subdivision had agreed to follow them, and according to court documents, that included MHM Investment Group. Despite that, in 2023, the company began constructing a large duplex on Lot 11, a waterfront parcel in the neighborhood. The project was ambitious. Instead of building a single home, the developer planned 2 high-end residences inside one structure. The finished property was expected to sell for around $2.2 million. But almost as soon as the foundation was poured, something caught the attention of the homeowners association. According to reports, the structure appeared to violate the neighborhood setback rules. Investigators later determined that the building encroached into the required side yard space by roughly 600 square feet. In simple terms, the duplex was built closer to the property line than the rules allowed. The HOA also claimed the developer had started construction without receiving required approval from the community's architectural committee. That approval was supposed to happen before any construction began. For the homeowners association, this wasn't just about one building. HOAs often argue that rules exist to protect property values and maintain consistency across a neighborhood. If one builder ignores those rules, the association fears it can undermine the entire system. So the HOA took action. Legal filings soon followed, and the dispute moved into court. But what happened next would later play a major role in the judge's decision. Even after the legal fight had started, the developer continued building. By the time the case progressed through the courts, the duplex was no longer just a foundation or framing. It had become a completed structure. 2 residences overlooking the water, reportedly already occupied by families who had purchased the homes. For those residents, the lawsuit unfolding around them must have felt surreal. They had bought homes in a luxury neighborhood. Now those homes were at the center of a legal dispute that could determine whether the building itself would even remain standing. In court, the developer argued that tearing down the entire building would be an extreme and unnecessary punishment. According to statements from the company's attorneys, the setback violation involved only a few feet, and they argued there were other remedies available that wouldn't require destroying the entire structure. The HOA saw it differently. The association argued that allowing the building to remain would undermine the neighborhood's covenants and make it harder to enforce rules in the future. They also claimed monetary damages alone would not fix the ongoing violation. As the legal arguments continued, the stakes grew larger. The completed duplex, valued at around $2.2 million, now stood as the physical symbol of the dispute. If the HOA won, the structure could be ordered removed entirely. If the developer prevailed, it would remain as one of the largest homes in the subdivision. Then in November 2025, a judge delivered a ruling that shocked many people watching the case. Hamilton Superior Court Judge David Najjar ruled in favor of the homeowners association. The court found that the developer had built the duplex in violation of the subdivision's covenants and without obtaining the necessary architectural approval before construction began. The ruling stated that these violations were clear under the neighborhood's governing documents. But the most dramatic part of the ruling was the remedy. The judge ordered that the entire structure be demolished, not partially modified, not fined and allowed to remain, completely removed. The order required the developer to tear down both residences, including the foundation, and restore the property to its original condition. In his decision, the judge acknowledged that demolition would have serious consequences. 2 families were reportedly living in the homes, and their lives would be disrupted by the ruling. But the court ultimately concluded that the responsibility for the situation rested with the developer. The harm, the judge wrote, was almost entirely self-inflicted. According to the ruling, the developer had been warned during the litigation process that continuing construction could result in very costly remediation if the company ultimately lost the case. Despite that warning, the project continued until the duplex was fully built and sold. The court determined that enforcing the neighborhood's covenants outweighed the financial loss to the developer. In addition to ordering demolition, the judge required the developer to pay the HOA's legal fees, which totaled more than $70,000. The ruling also set a timeline. Demolition could begin about 90 days after the court's order unless the parties reached some alternative agreement. For many observers, the case raised broader questions about property rights, the power of homeowners associations, and the risks developers take when pushing the boundaries of local rules. The developers' attorneys indicated they planned to challenge the decision.
According to their statements, they believed there were other remedies that could resolve the dispute without destroying a completed building. They also argued the case raised important legal questions about whether private HOA rules should override other property rights. As the legal battle continued, one fact remained unavoidable. A luxury duplex worth more than $2 million now faced the possibility of being torn down completely because of a setback violation measured in just a few feet. And at the center of it all were two families living inside a home that a judge had already ordered to disappear.